All right, let's start the session. Hello and welcome to Unacademy. My name is Aditi Bhatt, and I will be conducting your legal reasoning current affair analysis of the Hindu newspaper. All right, okay, so let's start with the session. Uh, right. So this is the link for the Telegram channel. If you want regular updates, you can join the channel for regular updates, and you can also, if you're planning to take the subscription, any subscription on the Unacademy platform, then you can unlock. In order to unlock free classes and subscription discount, you can use the referral code ABCLAT. All right. So let's begin with the news items. Okay, so these are today's highlights. So there are 10 news items that we will be covering today. First is Central Security Forces flood crisis hit Manipur. Center has invoked Article 355 of the Constitution of India to address state security concerns. So we will be looking into what Article 355 talks about. The second news item that we will be covering is President's rule should be imposed in Manipur. So again, President's rule, we will be again, this is also related to emergency provisions. So we will be covering both of them together. Right. Then 55K SIM cards to be blocked in Tamil Nadu after Home Ministry alert. This is actually related to the news article that I was talking about yesterday and day before yesterday, related to artificial intelligence. Okay, so we will look into the specific details that have been mentioned in the article. And the next item that we will be looking into is NCSC asks Punjab government to submit report on sexual misconduct charges against minister. NCSC is National Commission for Scheduled Castes, that has asked Punjab government to submit report on sexual misconduct charges against minister. Then the next news item is VC, Director of Shuats, perpetrated mass religious conversion programs in Uttar Pradesh. After that, we'll be looking into European Union's carbon tax plan. EU has recently introduced a new carbon tax plan, so we will be looking into it as well. Then the next news item that we will be dealing with is appeal in Supreme Court regarding ST status of the community. So this is also related to the Manipur crisis that's happening right now. Then another news item is COVID pandemic no longer an emergency. So World Health Organization has recently stated that COVID pandemic is no longer an emergency. So we will be looking into that news item. And another is no stay on Kerala, no stay on screening of the Kerala story. Kerala High Court has recently given this decision. And the final news item that we will be covering is China calls Canada's summoning of envoy slander defamation. All right. So let's start with the session. Now, the first news item that this is Central Security Forces flood crisis hit Manipur. Okay, so this article can be viewed from constitutional law perspective. So, right, this article can be viewed from constitutional law perspective. ठीक है इसमें इस आर्टिकल में आर्टिकल इस पर्टिकुलर न्यूज आइटम में आर्टिकल 355 को मेंशन किया है. तो पहले ये देखते हैं कि 355 आर्टिकल क्या कहता है. So article 355 refers to the provision in the constitution that states that it shall be the duty, it shall be, so I'm just writing it here. Article 355 states that it shall be the duty of the union to protect every state against external aggression and internal disturbance. Okay, so this is so Article 355 basically states that it shall be the duty of the Union to protect every state against external aggression and internal disturbance, and to ensure that the government of every state is carried in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. Okay. Article 355 is part of the emergency provisions. Emergency provisions have been dealt with in Part 18 of the Constitution, right? In Part 18 of the Constitution of India, right? That is, the emergency provisions extend from Article 352 to Article 360. Okay. In India, basically, there are three types of emergencies in India. There are three types of emergencies that have been stipulated in the Constitution. We have national emergency, right? Then we have the constitutional emergency. When the state government that is going on in Manipur. So this article basically mentions Article 355 of the Constitution, this news item. And so Article 355 of the Constitution states that it shall be the duty of the Union to protect every state against external aggression and internal disturbances. Okay. So Article 355 is part of the emergency provisions in the Constitution. Emergency provisions kahan pe? Emergency provisions are dealt under Part 18 of the Constitution, जो कि extend होते हैं from Article, sorry, just a second, from Article 352 to 360. All right. There are three types of emergencies provided in our Constitution or stipulated in our Constitution: the national emergency, constitutional emergency, and financial emergency. All right. Okay. So, what is emergency? Emergency basically एक ऐसी situation आ जाती है which is जिसमें कि गवर्नेंस मुश्किल हो जाता है. अगर वो नेशनल लेवल पे है तो वो एक नेशनल इमरजेंसी होगी. नेशनल इमरजेंसी कब डिक्लेयर होती है? जब कोई एक्सटर्नल अग्रेशन हो रहा है या वॉर हो रही है, उस केस में नेशनल इमरजेंसी डिक्लेयर होती है. कुछ एक्सटर्नल एग्रेशन हो रहा है या फिर इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंसेस हो रहे हैं. नाउ इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंसेस with coupled with armed rebellion. Okay. So if it is armed rebellion, then of course, then the national emergency can be declared. But constitutional emergency is, you can refer to it as state emergency या किसी एक particular region में emergency जब लागू होती है, because वहाँ का जो government है, जो वहाँ की machinery है, constitutional machinery has failed and is not able to perform, right? So when the constitutional machinery fails in a particular region or a particular state, then constitutional emergency is applied, is basically applicable over there, right? Is invoked. So constitutional emergency is also known as president's rule, right? National emergency is covered under Article 352 of the Constitution. Constitutional emergency or president's rule is covered under Article 356 of the Constitution, and financial emergency is covered under Article 360 of the Constitution. Okay, right. So what is the relation between Article 356 and Article 355? Under Article 355, it is the duty in the performance of which the center takes over the government of state. So basically, see, sorry, under Article 356, 356 और 355 में क्या अंतर है? 355 में जो गवर्नेंस है, यानी कि जो स्टेट की गवर्नेंस है, उस पे सिर्फ वहां पे जो क्राइसिस हो रहा है, लेट्स से कोई भी किसी भी पर्टिकुलर स्टेट में एक्सटर्नल अग्रेशन या कोई इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंस की सिचुएशन क्रिएट हो गई है, राइट, फॉर एनी रीजन, तो सेंटर का रोल है, सेंटर क्या करता है, यूनियन इज एम्पावर्ड टू प्रोटेक्ट दैट पर्टिकुलर स्टेट, वहां के लोगों को प्रोटेक्ट करना और एक्सटर्नल अग्रेशन या जो भी इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंसेस हैं उनसे बचा के रखना लोगों को, राइट, जो मेन स्टेट है उसकी गवर्नमेंट पे कंट्रोल नहीं करना। सो बेसिकली उस टाइम पे क्या होता है कि स्टेट क्या, सेंटर क्या करता है कि सीआरपीएफ एक्ट को एक्टिवेट करता है, सीआरपीएफ एक्ट। So basically, even in the article, you can see that around 3,200 Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF) personnel have been, and Army and Indian Air Force teams have been deployed in Manipur, right, to control the situation. तो सिचुएशन को कंट्रोल करता है आर्टिकल 355 के अंडर। यूनियन बेसिकली स्टेट, किसी स्टेट में अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम हो गई है तो उसको, जो भी वायलेंस हो रहा है या जो भी डिसऑर्डर हो रहा है, तो उसको कंट्रोल करने के लिए डिप्लॉय की जाती हैं टीम्स, राइट। 356 के अंडर डिफरेंट चीज होती है। 356 में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मशीनरी फेल हो जाती है, राइट, सिर्फ लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन नहीं खराब होती है। इनफैक्ट 355 में लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन खराब होती है जो कि आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल चली जाती है, तो वहां पे डिप्लॉय करना पड़ता है, बट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट स्टिल फंक्शन कर रहा है, राइट, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट फुली इट इज फंक्शनिंग, वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आई है। बट 356 में क्या होता है कि जरूरी नहीं कि 356 में जैसे स्टेट, किसी स्टेट के अंदर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर सिचुएशन खराब हो जाए। 356 में क्या होता है कि जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मशीनरी होती है, यानी कि जहाँ जो उस पर्टिकुलर स्टेट की जो गवर्नमेंट होती है, वो गवर्नमेंट बेसिकली basically maybe it loses the confidence of the assembly, so it can, it is possible that जो भी वहाँ पे government थी in power, it has lost the majority or the confidence of the majority of the people in the state legislative assembly, that particular state legislative assembly। इस वजह से भी हो सकता है, because constitutional machinery, तो यानी कि वहाँ पे कोई भी सरकार ही नहीं है या कोई सरकार ऑपरेट नहीं कर पा रही है, बिकॉज डिसीजन नहीं हो पा रहा फाइनल कि कौन से गवर्नमेंट को किया जाए। सो दैट इन दोज सिचुएशंस जनरली, और अगर ऑब्वियसली अगर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर भी हो जाए, सो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर ऐसा हो 355 में जरूरी है, बट 356 में it may happen, it may not happen, right? So 356 basically talks about that there is a breakdown of constitutional machinery in a particular state, right? It can be in any way, it can be whether the government is not forming in that state, or whether there is a law and order situation, or whether there is something कि जो वहाँ की जो गवर्नमेंट है वो नहीं कंट्रोल कर पा रही है, या जो भी है उसको गवर्नेंस प्रॉपर नहीं कर पा रही प्रॉपर तरीके से। At that time president's rule is imposed। I hope I'm being clear, right? Again, so the second article now it talks about president's rule, right? So president's rule under article 356 basically states the same thing that I've already, इसमें basically जो अभी see, here the difference is given. Article 355 imposes a duty on the center to ensure that the government of every state is carried on in accordance with the provisions of the constitution. But under Article 356, it is the duty in performance of which the center takes over the government of state in case of failure of constitutional machinery in a state, which is known as President's Rule. President's Rule, again, this is also called constitutional emergency. This is dealt with under Article 356 of the Constitution, right? And ये कब होता है? When there is a breakdown of constitutional machinery, right? And in which what happens? The center takes over the government of the state. So let's again understand the difference between 355 and Article 356, right? Article 355 and Article 356. Article 355 imposes a duty on the center to ensure that the government of state is carried on to basically protect state from any kind of to protect state and to ensure that the government of the state is carried on in accordance with the provisions of constitution, right? To protect state from external aggression or internal disturbance, right? And to ensure that the government is carried on to ensure that the governance of the state is carried on in accordance with the constitution of India. Okay, so constitutional provisions. अब article 356 में क्या है? It is again, so 356 is basically breakdown of constitutional machinery. The center takes over the government of the state. इसमें क्या है? Center president's rule is imposed. Right, because there has been a breakdown of constitutional machinery and the center takes over the government of the state. All right, okay, so I hope this is clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. And all right, okay, we'll move on to the next article. This another next news item basically deals with, it talks about 55,000 SIM cards, around 56,000 SIM cards to be blocked in Tamil Nadu after Home Ministry alert. The police sources said that the SIMs were used to activate phone numbers in Chennai, Coimbatore, and they used artificial intelligence. Basically, this article is, it is important from information technology point of view. It talks about artificial intelligence. Why I have actually included this article in today's amongst today's news item, because yesterday and day before yesterday we talked about artificial intelligence, right? See here, here basically the article is saying that the cybercrime wing has detected and has found out that these sims have been blocked because the sim cards failed to comply with the know your customer norms, KYC norms hote hain, right? So the sim cards have failed to comply with the KYC norms, and a lapse that resulted in the activation of thousands of SIM cards with fake proof identities. तो ये SIM cards तो अलॉट हुए थे, बट इनकी जो आइडेंटिटी थी वो फेक थी और केवाईसी नॉर्म्स में कंप्लाई नहीं कर रहे थे, राइट. The Department of Telecommunication deployed the artificial intelligence and facial recognition powered solutions. See, this is very important. Artificial intelligence and facial recognition powered solution, ASTR, technology to identify large number of similar images with different addresses. ASTR is considered a game changer in the industry and next generation platform to detect and weed out SIM cards activation and fake proof of identities. So because we were discussing, we still, although we do not have a particular law related to AI, but there are a lot of steps being taken into consider the Indian government is also taking a lot of steps to incorporate, and to basically prepare guidelines when it comes to artificial intelligence, because in today's day and time, uh, artificial intelligence is being used almost everywhere, right? AI is incorporated everywhere, so that's why we need proper, laws or regulations regarding this. So okay, so let's move on to the next news item. The next news item states NCSC, which is the National Commission for Scheduled Caste, asks Punjab government to submit report on sexual misconduct charges against minister. So this article can be viewed from constitutional law perspective. This article is basically talks about the NCSCs, or the National Commission for Scheduled Caste. So we need to know what NCSC is. So NCSC is a constitutional body. Okay. Now, NCSC is a constitutional body, and it has been established under Article 338 of the Constitution of India. Article 338 of the Constitution of India. Right? 338. Um, It provides for National Commission for Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes with duties to investigate and monitor all matters relating to safeguards provided for them, to inquire into specific complaints, and to participate and advise on planning process for their socio-economic development. The main function क्या है? What is the function of NCSC? The main function is to investigate and monitor all matters relating to safeguards provided for SC/STs. Right? Um, to inquire into specific complaints and to participate and advise on planning process. planning process for the socio-economic development of the scheduled caste. All right, this is the main function of NCSEs. So NCSE basically consists of a chairperson. It is a multi-member body. It consists of a chairperson. It is a multi-member body. Consists of a chairperson, vice chairperson, three other members. Three other members, right? They all are appointed by president. They all are appointed by the president of India. So the functions of NCSEs are monitoring and investigating all issues concerning SCs, inquiring into complaints relating to deprivation of rights, and safeguarding the rights of SCs, and taking part in advising central or state government with respect to any socio-economic reforms, right? Then regular reporting to the president. Uh, then recommending steps. So NCSE also gives out recommendations for any kind of welfare activities, and other functions with respect to welfare protection, development, and advancement of the scheduled caste community. The commission is also required to discharge similar functions with regard to Anglo-Indian communities as it does with respect to scheduled caste, right? Okay, so I hope this is clear. You need to remember that this is a constitutional body and specific article related to NCSEs for and the functions, some certain functions, major which I have already discussed. So that's all. That would be all, right? Okay. Then another article. This talks about VC director of Sam Higgins Bottom University of Agriculture, Technology and Sciences. He basically is the main perpetrator of mass religious conversion programs, and he is also involved in receiving foreign funds from 20 countries, and those accounts have not been in compliance with the FCRA guidelines. Okay, so let's see what the article is basically referring to. So this article can be uh, viewed from constitutional law perspective, because first of all, there are two issues that we can cover from this particular news item. First is mass religious conversion programs involving foreign funds from different countries. So if you remember in the last, in I think it was 2nd of May, we covered the session that we covered on 2nd of May. We mentioned, right? So freedom of religion, freedom of religion is covered under, is included under Article 25 of the Constitution. Article 25 of the Constitution of India, right? Which is part 3, which falls under part 3 of the Constitution. So basically, this is a fundamental right, right? Very important fundamental right. Freedom of religion is a fundamental right. Freedom of religion includes freedom of conscience. Freedom of religion includes freedom to profess religion. Then it includes freedom to practice religion. And lastly, it includes freedom to propagate religion, right? And of course, these all are subject to public order, morality, and health. Okay, right? Freedom of religion, but okay, so it includes freedom of religion since it's it falls under part 3 of the constitution, so it is a fundamental right. And under article 25, we have the freedom of conscience, we have freedom to profess religion, we have freedom to practice religion, we have freedom to propagate religion, but we do not have freedom, we do not, or rather I'll rephrase it. Hmm. So here I would like to rephrase: freedom of religion does not include the right to right convert an individual through fraud, deception, coercion, and allurement, or other such means. Okay, so basically what we are trying to understand is freedom of religion does not include the right to convert an individual through fraud, deception, coercion or allurement or other such means. यानी कि अगर कोई voluntarily, अगर कोई willfully अपने मन से convert हो रहा है किसी धर्म में, किसी किसी particular religion में, right, तो वो allowed है, that is all right. But अगर किसी को fraudulently, हाँ, या फिर किसी को डिसीव करके, धोखा देके, या किसी को फोर्सफुली कन्वर्ट किया जा रहा है, या किसी को अल्योर करके कि लेट से कोई गरीब है, किसी के पास ज्यादा पैसे नहीं है, तो उसकी गरीबी का फायदा उठा के, या कोई बहुत कर्जे में है, राइट, तो उसके उसके वीकनेसेस का फायदा उठा के किसी को अल्योर करना, राइट, और उसके मतलब बेसिकली अल्योर करके भी आप जो है यू कैन नॉट कन्वर्ट समवन. तो इस केस में यहाँ पे ये बोला गया है, the affidavit said pamphlets were found promising 35,000 to people who get themselves converted to Christianity. So they were basically alluring people, they were giving money, and so or uski the person who was the accused vice chancellor of so and so technology in this university of agriculture and technology and sciences, उसके अकाउंट में मिले हैं 34 crore 44 lakh 54,855. So this is amount, so this was received in the FCRA account of this person, right? And FCRA क्या है? What is FCRA? FCRA is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 1976. So ये basically एक act है जो कि फॉरेन से कोई भी अगर कंट्रीब्यूशन आ रहा है किसी भी पर्सन के अकाउंट में, तो उसको रेगुलेट करती है. Okay, this act was enacted during emergency amid apprehensions that foreign powers were interfering in India's affairs. तो emergency जब 1976 में इंदिरा गांधी गवर्नमेंट थी, उन्होंने emergency promulgate करी थी, and उस टाइम पे ये एक्ट को बनाया गया था, फॉरेन कंट्रीब्यूशन रेगुलेशन एक्ट को बनाया गया था, बिकॉज उस टाइम पे ये एप्रीहेंशन था गवर्नमेंट को, ये एप्रीहेंशन था कि जो इंडिया में प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही हैं, इंटरनल डिस्टर्बेंसेस हो रही हैं, उनका रीजन बाहर से, मतलब दे आर बीइंग फंडेड फ्रॉम आउटसाइड. सो इस उसको रेगुलेट करने के लिए, या और टू कीप अ चेक ऑन any kind of foreign contribution, any kind of contribution coming from a different country, to regulate that and to keep a check on that, this act was drafted. All right. And this act was enacted, and so it, so that people can actually stop any kind of illegal this thing transactions. The law sought to regulate foreign donations to individuals and associations so that they functioned in a manner consistent with the values of a sovereign democratic republic, right? And so the FCRA basically requires every person or NGO to seeking to receive foreign donations to be registered under the act, to open a bank account for a receipt of foreign funds in the State Bank of Delhi, to utilize those funds only for the purpose of which they have been received and as stipulated under the act. And the FCRA registrations are granted to individuals or associations that have definite cultural, economic, educational, religious, or social programs. Okay. So FCRA, because इस article में mentioned है, they were not FCRA in compliance with the FCRA norms, and they that's why, they got into trouble. All right. So I hope this is clear. I hope you understood what FCRA Act talks about, what the act, what is the whole idea behind this, behind the enactment of this particular statute. All right. So I'm just trying to give you some basic idea about, you should know because it's happening around you. Okay. Now, Center looks into options to counter EU's carbon tax plan. So this particular news item can be viewed from environmental law perspective. In this particular news item, it is saying that the European Union plans to introduce carbon border adjustment mechanism plan. Okay, just a second. The EU plans to introduce, I hope this is visible to all of you. The EU plans to introduce a carbon border adjustment mechanism, CBAM. Okay, what will this CBAM talk about? It will entail it will entail a monitoring mechanism for imports from producers who have deployed non-green technologies starting this October, and a tax levy from Jan 2026, right? So जो भी ऐसे producers हैं जो कि अपने commodity या जो भी वो लोग product sell कर रहे हैं, whatever business they have, उसमें if they are employing if they are deploying non green technologies, ऐसी technologies जो कि sustainable नहीं है, which cause a lot of carbon footprint, तो ऐसी कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजीज जो कि बहुत ज्यादा कार्बन फुटप्रिंट क्रिएट कर रही हैं एनवायरनमेंट में, राइट? तो कार्बन एमिशन हो रहा है जिन ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी से, दोज टेक्नोलॉजीज और दोज the producers of or users of those technologies will be taxed. They and a carbon tax will be levied on their products. Okay. Now, of course, in India, we have the organization Engineering and Export Promotion Council of India. They deal with, so they will be coming up with the alternatives, or with the, how to deal with solutions to this problem, and how to deal and work around this issue. All right, there's another remissions of duties and taxes on exported products scheme. So this is also another scheme that we have, remissions of duties. So okay, why this is important? First of all, from environment point of view, another thing is that you see WTO, because trade is something that's always happening. Trade is a very important aspect from international point of view. So international law. So again, WTO is in picture, has been mentioned in the article. So again, you can refer to your WTO notes, and we have already discussed World Trade Organization, right? Okay. Another next news item talks about appeal in Supreme Court against order on ST status of community. This is again dealing with the Methi community, the ST status of the Methi community in Manipur. जिस जो भी क्राइसिस चल रहा है अभी मणिपुर में रिगार्डिंग दैट. सो दिस कैन अगेन बी viewed from a constitutional law perspective. This article talks about SLP, or special leave petition. Now SLP is dealt with under article 136 of the Constitution of India. Okay, what is SLP? SLP, or special leave to apply by the Supreme Court. What does Article 136? Let's go. Let's read what Article 136 talks about. Um, it states, notwithstanding anything in this chapter, the Supreme Court may grant special leave to appeal from any judgment. So Supreme Court, this is the power. 136 is basically a constitutional uh, tool that we have. It is a tool or an instrument in the hands of the people. So Supreme Court basically grants special leave to appeal. So this is special leave to appeal. Special leave to appeal to from any judgment, decree, determination, sentence, or order in any cause or matter passed or made by any court or tribunal in the territory of India. So, an appeal, special leave petition can, an appeal from, let's say, any high court or any judgment, decree, determination, or sentence, or order passed by any court or tribunal in India. Agar, if let's say parties are fighting in a particular, they have a matter, they have a proceeding going on in the high court, or any kind of tribunal gives a particular decision, then if they are not satisfied, if the parties are not satisfied with the decision of the high court or any tribunal, they can go directly to the Supreme Court under Article 136 of the Constitution, which provides for special leave of appeal to Supreme Court. So special leave petition under SLP. Okay. Um, this particular Article 136 will apply to any judgment, any determination, sentence, or order passed or made by any court or tribunal constituted by or under any law, right, in the territory of India. Okay. So you should, these are, these are tools or instruments, these special articles, specific articles, you should always know that. So you must remember, this is not a part of fundamental right, but uh, this is a constitutional right that citizens have, right, under Article 136. Okay, moving on. So WHO has announced that COVID pandemic is no longer an emergency, right? It is, this article can be viewed from public international law point of view, and the World Health Organization said that COVID no longer qualifies as a global emergency. COVID no longer qualifies as a global emergency, marking a symbolic end to the devastating coronavirus pandemic that triggered once unthinkable lockdowns, upended economies, and killed millions of people. So, what WHO is basically saying, that COVID is not over yet. It is no more an emergency, but it is still going on, because you see a lot of cases are being still being reported in Asia. A lot of cases are still being reported in Asia. So COVID is not over yet. It is still going on, but it is no longer an emergency crisis. All right. This is what WHO is saying. So because WHO is mentioned, so this can be viewed from public international law point of view. And so because WHO is an international organization, so let's see what WHO is. What is World Health Organization? So WHO is one of UN's specialized agencies for health. UN's specialized agency for health, right? It was founded in, very important, it was founded in 1948. All right. Headquarters are in, headquarter in Geneva, Switzerland. All right. So, and there are 194 member states, 194 member states, and it has six regional offices in different countries. Then it is an intergovernmental organization that works in collaboration with its member states, usually through the ministries of health. So WHO works in collaboration with the Ministry of Health of different countries. So if it is working in India, then it will cooperate or collaborate with the Ministry of Health in India. All right. WHO provides leadership on global health matters, shaping the health research agenda, setting norms and standards, articulating evidence based policy options, providing technical support to countries, and monitoring and assessing health trends. तो health trends क्या है उनको monitor करना. अभी जैसे कोविड रिलीज हुआ, कोविड वायरस जब आया, या कोई भी, not just covid, covid was not the first pandemic. उससे पहले बहुत सारे ऐसे पैंडमिक्स या आउटब्रेक्स, वायरस आउटब्रेक्स हो चुके हैं अलग अलग कंट्रीज में. कोविड वॉज अ बिगर बिकॉज इट वॉज लार्ज स्केल आउटब्रेक ऑफ वायरस. अदरवाइज ऐसे छोटे मोटे मतलब ऐसे वायरस आउटब्रेक्स होते रहते हैं. दे हैव बीन लाइक it's they have always been there happening. And right. So it started its functioning. WHO started functioning from 7th April 1948 onwards. इसीलिए 7th April को we celebrate 7th April every day as the World Health Day. World Health Day. Right? 7th April was just last month only. 7th April is celebrated as World Health Day. Okay, every year. What are the objectives of WHO? WHO acts as the directing and coordinating authority on international health work. It establishes and maintains effective collaboration with United Nations and other specialized agencies, government health administrations, professional groups, and different other organizations. Then it provides assistance to governments upon request in strengthening health services, promotes cooperation amongst scientific and professional groups, right? And WHO में एक World Health Assembly होती है, which is the decision making body of WHO, World Health Assembly. They meet every year. So World Health Assembly is conducted every year in WHO headquarters, um, with specific health agendas that are prepared by the executive boards. Okay, so I hope this is clear. This is all that you need to know from your exam point of view. All right, moving ahead. No stay on screening. The Kerala story says Kerala High Court. The court says that movie does not contain anything offensive. The court says that movie does not contain anything offensive to any particular community. There is no allegation against any religion, but only against the IS, which is the terrorist outfit. And CBFC, or the Central Board of Film Certification, finds the movie suitable for screening. Now, this can be viewed from constitutional law perspective. Why is this relevant? So basically, it talks about stay order. So I wanted you all to know what stay order is. Okay, these are why I'm telling you all these. When you talk about PIL, public interest litigation, or talk about RTIs, right to information, or stay orders, right, or even special leave petitions, SLP. These are what are these basically? These are legal tools. These are instruments. These are remedies, specific reliefs that we have in place, they basically help us in getting better or speedier justice delivery. All right, so these are different types of legal tools or instruments available with citizens. So that's why we all should know what they talk about. So what is a stay order? A stay order is a sorry, a stay order is a temporary relief granted to stop the activity carried out by the parties. In relation to the subject matter subject matter of dispute until further orders of the court. Until further orders of the court are issued on the matter. Okay, so let me explain it to you. I'll read it again. A stay order is a temporary relief granted to stop the activity carried out by the parties in relation to the subject matter of dispute until further orders of the court are issued on the matter. ठीक है, सो बेसिकली एक स्टे ऑर्डर क्या होता है? एक स्टे ऑर्डर एक तरह की टेम्पररी रिलीफ है. अगर लेट से कोई दो पार्टीज हैं जिनके बीच में डिस्प्यूट चल रहा है, वो कोर्ट में ऑलरेडी डिस्प्यूट चल रहा है, जैसे किसी ने फॉर एग्जांपल किसी ने एक एक पर्सन ने दूसरे पर्सन के लैंड को लेट से इलीगली एनक्रोच कर लिया है और उस पे इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहा है. पहले तो एनक्रोच किया, एनक्रोचमेंट इन इटसेल्फ इज एन इलीगल एक्टिविटी. तो पहले तो एनक्रोच किया, राइट, और फिर उसके ऊपर इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहा है. तो जो जिस जिस पर्सन का लैंड है वो जाके कोर्ट में ये स्टे ऑर्डर फाइल कर सकता है. पहले तो ये केस फाइल कर सकता है कि एक एनक्रोचमेंट हुआ है और बिकॉज उसके उस पर्सन जो कंस्ट्रक्शन कर रहा है उसके कंस्ट्रक्शन को रोकने के लिए कोर्ट में वो स्टे ऑर्डर भी फाइल कर सकता है. स्टे ऑर्डर के लिए भी अपील कर सकता है कि एक टेम्पररी रिलीफ मिल जाए, यानी कि उस टाइम तक जब तक ये केस रिजॉल्व नहीं हो जाता, जब तक ये डिस्प्यूट रिजॉल्व नहीं हो जाता, तब तक वो जो इलीगल एक्टिविटी है, लेट्स से दैट इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन इन दिस मैटर, तो उस पे एक रोक लगा दी जाए, उसको स्टे कर दिया जाए. तो कोई भी इलीगल एक्टिविटी हो उस चीज को स्टे कर दिया जाए जब तक उस पे फाइनल डिसीजन ना आ पाए. दिस इज एन इंटरिम रिलीफ, दिस इज अ टेम्पररी इंटरिम रिलीफ. ओके, ये दी जाती है जब कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग जब ऑलरेडी दे आर ऑन. ऑलराइट, ये generally stay orders से related you will find provisions in specific relief act. You will find provisions in CPC, which is Code of Civil Procedure. You will study it in law school also, but just you need to understand just have understanding or develop understanding of these legal tools. It will really help you a lot. Okay. um so getting a basic idea of what these legal tools are, कैसे इनको यूज किया जा सकता है, कैसे, और बहुत अब्यूज भी होता है, बहुत मिसयूज भी होता है, बट अल्टीमेटली यू पीपल स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट पर्सपेक्टिव यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट ये कैसे कैसे लीगल टूल्स इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स हैं, रेमेडीज अवेलेबल हैं कौन कौन सी, जो कि अलग अलग सिचुएशंस में अप्लाई करी जा सकती है. ऑलराइट, ओके. So we'll move ahead. The next, this is the last news item. This news item basically talks about defamation. Okay, so it can be viewed from tort law also, tort law perspective also, and it can be viewed from criminal law perspective also. This news item basically states China calls Canada's summoning of envoy slander defamation. Okay, so because it specifically states slander and defamation, so let's discuss that. Defamation is both civil as well as criminal. Civil भी होता है, criminal भी होता है, right? Defamation क्या होता है? What is defamation? Defamation is when one person uh, says or writes something offensive or something that insults or something that derogates the reputation किसी की reputation को खराब करना, कुछ ऐसे स्टेटमेंट देके या कुछ ऐसा पब्लिश करके जो कि किसी दूसरे पर्सन की रेप्यूटेशन को गिरा देता है इन द आईज ऑफ सोसाइटी. All right. So defamation is an act of communicating false statements. This is also very important कि जो भी defamation, जो भी कुछ जो भी action है या जो भी communication, जो भी चीज communicate करी गई है either through words, verbally communication किया गया हो या किसी permanent form में, यानी किसी writing में through online offline writing or publishing article magazine or whatever it is. So that defamation, those statements need to be false. वो false होने बहुत जरूरी हैं. ओके, किसी के ऊपर false accusation लगा दिया, allegation लगा दिया, या किसी को falsely कुछ भी बोल दिया, right, which is not true in nature, या आप उसको उस statement को अगर justify नहीं कर पा रहे हो, then that would be defamation. ओके, एंड जो कि रेप्यूटेशन, किसी की रेप्यूटेशन को हार्म करता है, किसी को लीगल इंजरी प्रोवाइड करता है. ओके, सो दैट such statements basically legally injure someone's reputation. Okay, any false or unprivileged statement published or spoken deliberately, intentionally, knowingly, with the intention to damage someone's reputation is defamation. So defamation is basically any, sorry, just a second, any false or unprivileged statement published, either it is published यानी कि आपने न्यूज़पेपर में पब्लिश कर दिया या किसी मैगजीन में या न्यूज़ आर्टिकल में या एनीथिंग, एनीवेयर यू कैन पब्लिश इट, ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन, किसी भी परमानेंट फॉर्म में, मतलब पब्लिश्ड इन द सेंस कि इट इज इन परमानेंट फॉर्म. ठीक है, पब्लिश हो गया, या फिर एनीवन is or it is spoken, either it is published or it is spoken, right, deliberately, intentionally, and knowingly. मतलब it is intention भी है और knowledge भी है. although although criminal intention, जब हम कोई भी criminal act की बात करते हैं, जब भी हम कोई criminal offense या उसकी बात करते हैं, तो हम mens rea की बात करते हैं, right? तो mens rea is what it is criminal intention. तो किसी भी criminal किसी भी act को offend किसी भी person को criminally liable ठहराने के लिए mens rea देखा जाता है. mens rea is a prerequisite for any crime that has been committed. ठीक है, तो बट डेफेमेशन में मेंस रिया इज नॉट अ प्री रेक्विजिट. डिफेमेशन में मेंस रिया इज नॉट अ प्री रेक्विजिट. वाई इज इट नॉट अ प्री रेक्विजिट? क्योंकि अगर प्री रेक्विजिट हो गया, लेट्स से अगर हम ये बोल दें कि हाँ मेंस रिया जरूरी है डिफेमेशन में, अगर मेंस रिया नहीं होगा तो वो डिफेमेशन नहीं होगा, राइट? तो कोई भी स्टेटमेंट बोल देगा, कुछ भी स्टेटमेंट बोल देगा और बाद में बोलेगा कि नहीं मेरा तो इंटेंशन नहीं था, आई हैड नो क्रिमिनल इंटेंशन टू डिफेम दैट पर्सन, एंड देन he will do away with saying any kind of thing, right? So that's why mens rea is not a prerequisite in defamation. The defamation may, even though a person is deliberately, intentionally, or and having knowledge with the intention to damage someone's reputation, right? That is what is defamation. ठीक है? अच्छा, and what is the difference between libel or libel? Ska pronunciation is not that important. You need to understand the difference, right? Libel and slander में क्या अंतर है? What is the difference between libel and slander, or libel, however you want to pronounce it? Pronunciation is not that important. Libel basically is, again, something that is in a published form, right? Something that is having a permanent form is a libel. Then slander is spoken words or verbal form, oral, verbal, oral, right? This is written, ठीक है? But ये जो distinction है ना, this distinction is only applicable in UK law. In UK only it is applicable, not applicable in Indian law, not in India. Okay? So in India it doesn't really matter if it is libel, slander, it is defamation anyway. Okay? Um, डेफेमेशन हमने क्यों बात की? अच्छा, हम इसको ओके हम इसको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ के पर्सपेक्टिव से भी देख सकते हैं. सी, हर जगह कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आ ही जाएगा, बिकॉज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज द ओवर आर्चिंग लॉ एंड एवरीथिंग इज, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज द लॉ ऑफ द लैंड, इट इज द ओवर आर्चिंग लॉ, सो एवरीथिंग कम्स अंडर इट. ओके, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में क्या है हमारे पास? आर्टिकल 19(1)(a), फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन. ठीक है, फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन तो है, बट रीजनेबल रिस्ट्रिक्शंस भी तो हैं. हम भूल जाते हैं कभी कभी कि रीजनेबल रिस्ट्रिक्शंस भी हैं अंडर आर्टिकल 19(2). दे आर रीजनेबल रिस्ट्रिक्शंस फॉर आर्टिकल 19(1)(a), और उनमें से एक रीजनेबल रिस्ट्रिक्शन कौन सा है? दैट इज defamation is one of the reasonable restrictions of article 19(1)(a). This is very important, right? So article 19 clause 2 has imposed certain reasonable exemptions to freedom, such as contempt of court, defamation, incitement to an offense. Defamation can be both civil as well as criminal offense depending on the objective they seek to achieve. A civil wrong sees a wrong being redressed with monetary compensation, while a criminal law seeks to punish a wrongdoer and send a message to others not to commit such acts with a jail term. Okay, criminal offense. In a criminal offense, defamation has to be established beyond reasonable doubt, but in civil defamation suit, damages can be awarded based on probabilities, right? Uh, Civil defamation is the allegation or statement has to be false. Now, what are the ये तो हमने ये जान लिया कि ये सारी चीजें हैं, that the allegation has to be false, it has to be expressed without the consent of the affected person. The provision of claiming monetary compensation from the defendant for the defamation. The what are the defenses? इसमें क्या defenses हैं defamation के? यानी कि जो भी पर्सन जिसने, अगर लेट्स से जो डिफेंडेंट है, वो क्या डिफेंस ले सकता है अगर ऐसा कोई स्टेटमेंट है जो कि ट्रू है ना, या उसका आप जस्टिफिकेशन दे सकते हो. If it is a statement that can be backed by justification, that statement can be backed by any evidence, any evidentiary value, any evidence, then it is not defamation. Then when it is not defamation, when it is a fair comment. ठीक है? fair comment कब होता है? Let's say if you are writing any review, if you are reviewing a movie, or if you are reviewing a book, or if you are even reviewing a judgment. अगर आप being law students, you will eventually review and write case studies on various Supreme Court and High Court judgments. So if you are reviewing any judgment also, then also it goes under fair comment, right? Then third is that it has to be um, it is not privileged communication. Privileged communication क्या है? Privilege in constitution you must have studied parliamentary privileges होते हैं, right? Parliamentary privileges होते हैं, यानी कि पार्लियामेंट की जो प्रोसीडिंग्स होती हैं, दे आर इम्यून फ्रॉम एनी काइंड ऑफ court scrutiny, any kind of judicial scrutiny. Similarly, it goes to judicial uh, और कोर्ट प्रिविलेज. जुडिशियल प्रिविलेज क्या है? जुडिशियल प्रिविलेज इज बेसिकली जो कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग्स होती हैं, दे कैन बी कोर्ट में भी जो भी प्रोसीडिंग्स चल रही हैं, दे आल्सो फॉर्म पार्ट ऑफ अ प्रिविलेज्ड कम्युनिकेशन, राइट? तो ये तीन डिफेंसेस हैं, या ये तीन सॉर्ट ऑफ एक्सेप्शंस हैं under the defamation, right? And see, the main difference between any civil crime, any civil offense and a criminal offense is the degree of punishment that is you know the degree of punishment, or the degree of whatever punishment is awarded. जैसे कि जो भी सिविल रॉन्ग होता है, उसमें क्या होता है कि अनलिक्विडेटेड डैमेजेस रहते हैं. टॉर्ट में यू मस्ट हैव स्टडी, अनलिक्विडेटेड डैमेजेस रहते हैं, जो भी मॉनेटरी कॉम्पनसेशन से ही होता है. इट इज ओनली फाइन. बट क्रिमिनल लॉ में फाइन भी हो सकता है, एंड द पर्सन हैज टू गो थ्रू अ जेल टर्म. So that is the degree of punishment is higher in criminal law than in civil law. Okay, so I hope that it is clear. This we have completed today's session, all the news items for today. Okay, so if you have any doubt, if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comment section below. I'll see if there are any questions to be answered, right? Okay, so you can join the Telegram channel using the link, and wherein I'm giving you regular updates. So for regular updates, you can join the channel with the help of this barcode, or you can directly go on this link. All right, and the link of the Telegram channel is also pinned in the comment section below, so you can also directly join the channel from there itself. Okay, all right. All right, so let's end the session for today. Thank you for attending.